Steve Stine from Guitar Zoom here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today what I want to do is give you a walkthrough of the new Bias Effects 2 software. Now, while there's some certain things that are consistent from the first version of Bias Effects, there's been quite a large overhaul, and so I thought it'd be fun for us to just take a look and see what is going on under the hood and give you some ideas of some of the super cool new things that they've added to this. Now, there's a lot of new effects, new pedals. There's been an overhaul of some of the tones of the amps and things like that. But the biggest thing, which I'm going to save till last, is this thing called Guitar Match, which I'm just absolutely loving. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I play a lot of Ibanez guitars with EMG pickups. It's kind of it's my comfort zone. And you might have your own comfort zone with whatever guitar and pickups you use. But every once in a while, you wish you had something else. And not just a different amp and things, because we're able to get that with software like Bias Effects. But they've actually come up with this Guitar Match thing now where we can actually get the sound of the pickups, the body style, things like that, from different guitars, which is just amazing to me. So let's go ahead and just get started here. So what we've got, I'm going to pull up a sound here. I'm just going to go in here, and first of all, we'll just kind of look at the interface itself and how it looks a little bit different. There's your input, your Guitar Match, which we're going to get into. We can do some quick snapshots, of the tones that we're creating. Here's your output settings. So if you want to go in and change, maybe you're using a combo or something like that, you're doing something a little different. I'm just running direct, so this is all I'm going to be using for that. And then, of course, your output volume, which is pretty much standard. Now, let me grab a tone here. I'm going to go in here, and I'll just grab this Be Like Slash. So I can be like Slash, I guess, okay? So here we go. Okay, so we just got this kind of rock and roll tone, which is just fine. So I've got that loaded up. I'm gonna go up here and just click in this blank space here so I can see my signal path here. Okay, so as I move this around, you can see if I go into the single, it shows you just this signal path, and you can see all these things are shut off. Very similar to before, only there's a lot of new pedals and things like that, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. If you hit dual, it shows you kind of this new layout, which is really cool. So you can kind of see, what is happening with your signal path there. Kind of cool. And then actually, I noticed this up here too. Now, this is all new to me. I'm just learning this as well. But if I click here, I can see kind of the layout, kind of like a floorboard, right? So I can turn things on and off. So kind of cool. So that's that. I don't really use that layout, or at least I haven't yet, but who knows in the future if I might do something like that. So anyway, there's lots of different ways of being able to visualize that. Now, adding a pedal, let's say, now this one's got a lot of pedals already, but let's say I wanted to add something. So I click Add, I come over here, and there's a whole host of new things. So one of the ones that I really like in here is this multi-comp. So I click the multi-comp, and it will add it right there. And now I can do some of my normal compression things. Bring that up a little bit. Okay, so I could add something like that fairly easy. And of course, if I want to move it around, I just grab it and drag it, and I can move it to wherever I want. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory, and again, quite similar to what we would have had before. Okay. So I just wanted to show you kind of what that looks like, though. It's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and dig in here just a little bit. Let's say I wanted to turn on, I'm going to turn on this. Actually, let's go to a different sound here. Let's go to one I found I really liked, was this default high gain. So I click on that. Do I want to save it? No, I'm going to ignore that. But if I did want to save it, I could certainly, save it as a new, save it to my tone cloud as before, overwrite it, whatever I'd like to do there. Okay, so there's this default high gain. Now, let's say I wanted to, well, there's some normal things up here like the tap tempo. I can change the tap tempo up here. Here's my tuner that I can use. But this is super cool. Here's a looper right here. So let's just say I recorded some really cheesy kind of rhythm thing. And there it is. Okay, so just like that, now here I can dub. You see, so you can overdub, you can jam along. So if you're trying to, like a lot of times with my students, what I'll do is I'll have them just play over certain chord progressions, but they don't really have necessarily a looper pedal and all that kind of stuff. Well, here you've got a looper built right in. So if you wanted to just practice doing something over a particular chord, let's say I did this. I'm going to clear this out, and I'm actually going to choose something a little bit less gain-ish. I'm going to go in and do classic crunch. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so that's fine. Let's say I was doing something where I want just a chord, like I'd have a student jam over something, okay? So I just kind of tap it out there. So now what I want to do is just practice soloing over the G and the C chords, right? See? So just something like that. It makes for really great on-the-spot practicing. That's one of the coolest things that I really love about this, is just that sort of, just a cool, inventive way of throwing a looper in there. Okay. So that kind of shows you everything. Let's just talk about some of these new pedals that they've got and stuff like that. There's all kinds of different things. There's new compressions, there's new drives, boosts. One of the biggest ones that I found that I really like is a drive pedal. I'm going to go in here to add, go to drive. And one of the new ones that I've just fallen in love with, I actually have a tone that you can download off SoundCloud, the Tone Cloud, SoundCloud. The Tone Cloud called Sweet OD, the Sweet Overdrive here. So I'm going to throw that in the mix. I'm going to put that over here, right there. And this one, for some reason, is just really kind of stuck out in my practice. And then what I did, and you'll see this on the tone that I created, is I took and I switched this to one of their new pedals. I went to the, let's see here, which one I used, the power booster here. And I used that instead. And then what I did was I engaged both of these. Brought the tone up just a little bit, the distortion back. I got this nice little bite by kind of combining those two pedals together, okay? So there's lots of really neat things like this that you can do with some of the new pedals that they've got going on in here. But let's get to the really good stuff. I want to show you this. I'm going to go back to the Be Like Slash preset there, just this kind of sound. All right, what we're going to talk about now is a cool new feature called Guitar Match, which I really enjoy. So what I just did was deleted my other one so you could see how I set this up. So I'm going to click this little guitar icon here, Guitar Match. Okay, create a profile of your instrument, analyze your instrument's output and frequency, and select a model to match and enjoy, which is super cool. Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time with this, but what I'm going to do here, start profiling. I need to name it. So I'm going to name this Steve. And then I need to choose my body shape. So I'm choosing the humbucker single humbucker type, and then assign pickups. So I've got a humbucker, a single, and a humbucker. So you choose whatever, right? If you didn't have a middle position pickup, you would just choose none or whatever from the previous screen. So then I click next. And what I get to do now is I get profile each one of my 3 pickups. So I'm just going to profile the neck pickup for you right now, just so you see how this works and you don't get super bored. So I click next, okay, and I play a little bit. Okay, so now that's done. So I go next, and now it's telling me to play these notes at the 0th fret. Okay, so now that one is done. So I could profile another pickup, but to save time, I'm just gonna go straight to guitar match. So right now, this is the best part of this that again, there's so many things that are amazing about this software, but what I love is the fact now that I can take my Ibanez guitar with these EMG pickups, and I've got it on the neck pickup here. I'm gonna go up to the gold top reissue here. I'm going to show you these with a clean sound in just a minute here too. So I can get all of these different sounds. There's a, like here, I mean. It's just super cool how I can change up these sounds, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut that off, and what I really like to do is I'll go here and maybe go to the blackface tone, which is one of my favorite guitar tones. I just love clean tones. I love, obviously, rock tones too, but clean tones are just super fun to deal with. So I'm going to go into this blackface here, and I'm going to add just a little bit of drive. And that's actually pretty good. And that'll be fine, okay? So now I've got this blackface tone here, and what I'm gonna do is go back to this guitar match. And let's do this. I'm going to turn that off. Okay, go back to that. Liked here was this one. Oh, and this 35 was super cool too. I mean, it's just super cool, and I don't know, I mean, that for me is worth it right there. Is just that guitar match element of being able to take what I normally play, what I normally use, the sounds I normally get out of this guitar, which I love, but to be able to get something completely different without having to go buy a bunch of other guitars. So it's really worth checking out some of this stuff, okay? All these new sounds, the revamp sounds that they have, the user interface is a little bit different. Obviously, there's been quite an overhaul with that on what things look like. That looper is amazing. The tuner is very accurate. But for me, the sell for sure is that guitar match thing. I think it's amazing. So check it out. There'll be a link that you can click on to learn more about Bias FX 2. And take care, keep practicing, and I'll talk to you soon.